You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Joe Biden, President-elect Joe Biden, is going to name as his Secretary of Defense retired four-star general, excuse me one second, folks, Lloyd Austin as his Secretary of Defense. Again, that is a huge decision there. Lloyd Austin retired a couple of years ago. He is one of the few African Americans to ever ascend to the rank of four-star. He used to head the Central Command, the United States Central Command, a major military leader. He, of course, someone who we had on our show talking about the issue of COVID early on. And so here is, so you should be able to see right
all
now.
All of the agencies
some
in the government have to work together under the direction.
Retired four-star General Lloyd Austin when he was on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Again, he is someone with an impressive background in military, spent a number of decades serving in the U.S. Army, but he is going to, this is let me tell you something, a serious individual with an impeccable resume, a commanding man, and so it is, that is a major deal there, Joseph Williams, that Joe Biden has chosen for one of his significant national security positions, Lloyd Austin, to be in that position. There were a lot of people. They were talking about Jay Johnson, who was under the head of Department of Homeland Security under Obama. But Lloyd Austin becomes the first African-American ever to be the Secretary of Defense for the United States. That is big news there, Joseph.
Yes, a big shout out to Joe Biden, who's actually keeping a campaign promise here with this one. He said that he was going to create a cabinet that was as diverse as anyone has ever seen in the history of the United States. And this was a significant pick. Not only do you have one of the first African-American four stars in the U.S. military coming aboard as the Secretary of Defense, but you have someone with impeccable credentials, as you said, somebody who is almost guaranteed to get conferred by the Senate and who will bring a different perspective to this job. So I think it's a major pick. I know that Biden was under some pressure over the last few days to continue picking minorities for this position. He was under pressure to get picks, an African American for one of the big four, and this is a big one. So I think that people can look to this as a sign that Biden is trying to keep his commitment to African-American voters. The question remains whether or not this continues on with the rest of his cabinet picks.
You have a significant number of African-Americans who have served in the United States military, Julian. A number of those folks. You've had black four-star generals. We've had many of them on our show as well. But to see an African-American ascend to become Secretary of Defense, remember, retired four-star General Colin Powell, he served as National Security Advisor, also Secretary of State. You had Condoleezza Rice, who was Secretary of State, but you've never had an African-American over the nation's military. That is a big deal. One of, when you talk about a presidential cabinet, of the top four positions, if you will, when they're making their picks, frankly, Vice President, Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense ranks among the top four positions of any presidential cabinet.
You know, that's what the challenge has been, is to make sure that there were African Americans in the statutory cabinet. And the statutory cabinet does not include economic advisors. It does not include EPA. There are 12 cabinet positions that are laid out, and this is one of the top four. So this is extraordinarily significant, and it also does speak to Biden's ability to choose as he would. There was enormous pressure for white women to choose a white woman who had been involved in defense issues. I was just watching something earlier today where we were told that, you know, this woman had more experience than anybody else, you know, with all the Negro. And I forgot
You're
the woman's
talking,
name.
yes. You're talking about, now I got
Michelle
you, Juliana.
Flournoy.
You talk about Michelle Flournoy, who
Yes.
served in the Obama administration, and there were a lot of people who were saying that she could become the first female Secretary of Defense. Lloyd Austin, retired Four-Star General Lloyd Austin, will become the first African-American Secretary of Defense under Biden.
But, you know, the tension that this white woman put out there, the commentator, was frankly to me offensive. She basically said that black people had gotten ahead in the military more quickly than women had, so that women needed the greater claim. I just hope that as Brother Biden attempts to build a diverse cabinet, that we don't set constituencies apart from each other, although we already see some of it. African American versus Latino, women versus African American. And what we have to trust Joe Biden about, and I say this uneasily because, you know, Roland, I don't trust white folks but so much. But what we have to trust him about is a judgment to balance this cabinet. And I think so far, I'm willing to do that.
Teresa.
It's about time. We've always been at the front lines of defense, and now we have an African-American leader who will be telling us where the defense needs to go in order to protect the country that we built. So I think it is going along with Biden's and Kamala's plans in order to diversify their cabinet, but also it gives the American people hope that change is, yes, coming, but we have a president that is listening and a cabinet that is willing to do the work on day one.
And again, we're talking about a huge budget. Frankly, the United States spends more on defense than the next 10 countries combined, and so it's going to be a very tough job there for retired Four-Star General Lloyd Austin, but he certainly can actually make it happen. So we look forward to that announcement. Back to that Roland Martin Unfiltered video.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have that you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it, please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.